There was a lot of hog calls going on in Reno, Nevada for sure before we got on that plane.
First of many trips to Little Rock, I'm sure. Just what have you known so far about Central Arkansas? A lot of talent already. Kind of been at Arkansas before in the Little Rock area, but just the talent around Central.
Yeah, I mean, even before getting this job, I mean, the history of Arkansas basketball, whether it's Joe Johnson or Sidney Moncrief, because I'm old enough to remember, Sid and just I know Joe Klein lives here and incredible talent. They're always, it's not something that's just a 2-year thing. I mean, the history of Little Rock basketball is pretty well known throughout the entire country.
You've been here roughly 50 hours since the press conference. Have you learned something about Arkansas that you didn't know beforehand in the last, 2 days?
The people are so friendly. I guess we got to win now, but up until our first game, everybody's really, really friendly, and just the passion of that logo and the brand is pretty doggone powerful.
I heard you talk about LSU and the experience there, so you had a taste. You kind of knew about Arkansas and the passion for it, but it's even been a little bit bigger than you thought.
I expected something really cool, and that's really what it is just knowing that it's the brand in the state, and it's a state thing. It's not just a regional thing, and that's different from most places.
Has anything happened with your assistant coaches?
No, we're still talking to guys, and I had some good meetings this week with the current guys, and they've been awesome trying to kind of catch me up to speed on everything, and just we haven't had enough time in the day to try to put everything together, but we're working at it.
How have the meetings with the players gone?
Great. The players are great, really good character kids. They're excited. They seem to be really enthused, and so we'll just keep getting to know them, and we'll really start, in a couple, week and a half, we'll really be able to spend time with them.
Are there similarities in the style with what they
Welcome in. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day here on KDSJ 479, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And got a special show as we're going to come in and introduce you at 1:15 to the new head boys basketball coach at Fayetteville High School, head coach Brad Stamps. Will be joining us and talk about the future of the Purple Dog program, as I'm really excited to see what Brad and his upcoming staff can do with that program. I'm a former Bulldog, so it's a happy time in Bulldog country. And then we're going to follow it up. We couldn't get him yesterday, but we definitely got him today. SEC Networks, Barry Booker. We're going to talk SEC coaches. It's big boy coaching nowadays, and we're going to see his take on what he's looking for. And get his take on Arkansas hiring Coach Musselman. What does that do for the Razorbacks? And opening up more recruiting. Corey Evans of Rivals.com. Going to talk about Coach Musselman, his recruiting philosophy, and some of the kids like Kyrie and Dalen, Moses Moody, Jalen Williams. We'll talk about those guys in the 2020 class, how it's shaping up for Arkansas. But I want to bring in my co-host, Demetrius Johnson. D, how's everything going on this good Thursday?
It's going pretty good, man. How about yourself?
All right. Ain't that what Kevin Hart says?
Yeah, I think so.
Throughout this interview, we're going to be talking to Barry here shortly. What are some things that you're going to be wanting to hear from Barry when we talk about the new status quo of big boy coaches in the SEC with so many good basketball coaches coming into the conference?
Just his take on how he feels about the SEC. Sometimes a lot of people think this is just a football conference. So just to hear his take on how the league itself has just improved amongst, the big, Big Ten, the ACC. So just seeing that the SEC has really become a powerhouse in basketball is amazing. I just want to hear, an expert's opinion on it.
How many years, Demetrius, into the Musselman era, does the fan give him before, as usual, as we know him, to become restless? How many years do you say? Over or under?
For basketball, it's 2. I think they have, because I think they already have a lot of pieces that's they're in place. I think they're maybe 3 guys away from really being contenders. So,
well, we're going to continue on and get things started. We'll let you hear more of the Coach Musselman interview as he was, going across the state, town to meet the fans, and then we're going to come back with new Fayetteville boys basketball coach Brad Stamps. He's up next. This on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, on the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla.
Of that logo and the brand is pretty doggone powerful.
I heard you talk about LSU and the experience there. So you had a taste. You kind of knew about Arkansas and the passion for it, but it's even been a little bit bigger than you thought.
I expected something really cool, and that's really what it is just in knowing that it's the brand in the state, and it's kind of it's a state thing. It's not just a regional thing, and that's different from most places.
Has anything happened with your assistant coaches?
No, we're still talking to guys, and I had some good meetings this week with the current guys, and they've been awesome trying to kind of catch me up to speed on everything, and just we haven't had enough time in the day to try to put everything together, but we're working at it.
How have the meetings with the players gone?
Great. Players are great, really good character kids. They're excited. They seem to be really enthused, and so we'll just keep getting to know them, and we'll really start, in a couple, week and a half, we'll really be able to spend time with them.
Are there similarities in the style with what they were doing and what you do, getting up and down the court and getting after people? Are there some similarities?
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, basketball is basketball, but every coaching staff kind of has its own identity, theme, style, whatever you want to call it, and so, I think that, they didn't play like a slow pace, which, you could have played in a methodical system, but I think that there'll be differences, but some similarities as well.
The recruiting guys already been talking about how you guys have been hitting the road, or been putting out some big-time offers. What kind of feedback are you getting from the recruits, I wonder, after taking this job? And what are they saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, we can't comment on anybody in particular, but I think everybody's enthused, and again, not talking about anything in particular, just in general, and so we'll just keep trying to make contacts and introduce ourselves and go from there.
A little different walking around with that Razorback on your chest, you think, come summer when you're going to some of these summer tournaments?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt when you're representing the SEC. It's a powerful brand, the conference and our program.
Spring ball's done. Now that you've gone back, look, what do you think? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, on the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla. Welcome back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day here on KDSJ 479. And it brings me great honor to introduce our next guest as longtime friend, but a forever brother, new head basketball coach at Fayetteville High School. Brad Stamps joins us. Brad, welcome to joining us on the Hill, my man. Let's talk about it, Brad. I was speaking off the air. You and I go back a long ways. People may not know Brad and I were intermediate baseball teammates. First day I ever met Brad. And you said that day, and I'll never forget, that your dream was to be the head basketball coach at Fayetteville High School. Now, full circle, Brad, everything's come to fruition. Talk about the emotions that you're going through or have been going through the last 24 hours.
Yeah, Pat, it is emotional, and it's one of those things where, your memory's better than mine because I don't remember that discussion, but I do know that's always been a lifetime dream of mine. And, growing up in a community that, it's one high school, and, you play for the program, and then you leave, and then you come back and you coach at it again. The emotion part of it is just the pride that you have for your school and for the community. And last night it was going through the emotions of a press conference, knowing that you've just got your dream job, something that you've always wanted, something that you didn't know if it ever happened, but it does. And seeing the faces and the people that are in the community that you grew up with, that it's important to them as well. It's special for sure.
Taking the job, Brad, I know it's what I consider the best high school job in the state of Arkansas, bar none. I mean, there's really not a close second in my opinion, and I'm not saying that because I went to Fayetteville High School. I firmly believe that. But, what's the biggest thing that you have to accomplish, the first day on the job to set your program, the program that you want to have there at Fayetteville High School?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, over the last several weeks, when I knew that Coach Adams was towards the end and that it was probably going to happen, you start thinking about that. And that's always been for me the first 20 days. It's kind of been my deal. What am I going to do the first 20 days to put my identity or my stamp, on the program itself? And so you think about a lot of things. But number one for me is, and I mentioned it last night with our players, that I'm really looking forward to, and it's going to take place this afternoon and then again tomorrow, the individual time with each and every player in our program, getting their thoughts and explaining to them, how they're going to be used and how they're going to be a part of something special, and if they're ready to roll with it. And then as a team, coming together and just kind of getting a vision for what we're going to do. And then Monday, we get started. And kind of set our foundation of how we're going to play and what we're going to try to do. And I'm looking forward to the next few days.
You have a team that you're very familiar with, Brad. Now taking over as a head coach. What are some things that when you sit down and you're in your office just drawing stuff that you can implement? Because there's a lot of things as an assistant coach you may not be able to add that you would like to. Right. Now you're the head of the ship. What are some things with knowing the lineup that you have that you think you guys will be able to accomplish in year one?
Well, just personnel alone, Pat, is we've got some weapons, I would say. I mean, we got the newcomer of the year as our point guard coming back, Isaiah Relaford, and he's special. He does some things on the floor with his court vision and is, being able to make plays for others, and that's something that, we've got to have conversations with about how he, just at his position and his skill set, can do so much for our program and to get others involved. And that needs to be his number one, is him being aware of the strengths and weaknesses of his teammates that are around him and being able to play to their strengths and get others to raise their level of play because of the way he kind of, leads us. And then, the big fella inside, Tamari's 2-year, player for us, coming back, and he's fixing to take off by the end of the summer. He's going to be sought after, and he's got great feet, great hands, and I've got to convince him that, if you run the floor every single possession, which we're going to play fast, and every single possession, and beat your man down the floor, you're such a big available for us that, we can throw it down there, and a lot of teams don't have that option. And so those two are kind of the foundation. And then Connor Barnett, a kid that, started for us, this last year was one of our better perimeter shooters, and just getting his confidence sky high is the big thing, because he can shoot it, and being able to spread the floor with him. And then there's so many other pieces, Pat, that I feel comfortable and confident about. It's just I can't wait to get to work just to see how it all kind of blends in and mixes together. It's going to be fun.
Now, I know the next line of business is, being the coach at Fayetteville, I liken to winning the Powerball. You got all these cousins winning the Powerball that are coming out, and they want to, be a family member. Well, being the coach at Fayetteville, now the pot of coaches seems to be, out there. I know your phone's constantly buzzing. It's probably buzzing as you're on the phone with me now. But Brad, talk about that. What's going to be your staff, and what are you looking for in the guys that you have in your program?
Well, you're right, Pat. I mean, you mentioned the program itself earlier and the value of the program, and it is special. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of interest. People wanting two things: one, to be a part of the program; two, this area; and three, the opportunity to, with the talent that we have, and being able to, in the school and the culture, being a part of that. And so, there's internal, people that want the job, and they're going to have opportunity to sit down and us be able to talk first and foremost. But then there's others that, I'm looking forward to visiting with as well, and just seeing what the best possible fit for our kids and our program is, Pat. To me, that position is always a fit. It's always, who's going to benefit our kids in the long run, who's going to make a lasting impact on our kids, and who can be in that second chair and be as loyal as possible. To not just me, but, to our kids and to our program and our community.
Talking with head basketball coach, new head Fayetteville High School basketball coach and great friend of mine, Brad Stamps here on the Hill. The last question before I let you go, Brad, is I know you have a lot of business to tend to. If there's one message that you want the city of Fayetteville and all parents that may have a kid want to aspire to be a Fayetteville Bulldog, what would that message be that you'd like them to know about Coach Stamps?
Well, that Coach Stamps is going to love their kid, but he's going to coach them hard. He's going to love them hard. Trust in the fact that, we're going to have, your son's best interest. We're all in this together. We're all blessed to be a part of something as special that's bigger than us. Not one of us is more important than the rest of us. And so, it's going to be a special thing. I look forward to seeing where the program goes. But at the end of the day, it's, trust in the fact that your son's going to get loved and he's going to get coached.
Well, Brad, I love having you on board, man. As from one purple dog to the next. Dogs on 3, my man, and family on 6. But as always, thanks for taking time out, and congratulations, my man.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you, man.
That was Fayetteville head basketball coach Brad Stamps. Will be taking over, Demetrius. The man's taking over the best program in the state. They have made not won the state title, as Northside's won 2 of the last 3. But overall, top to bottom, for the consistency, I think he's got the best job in the state. I mean, wouldn't you love to be the coach at Fayetteville?
I definitely would love to be the coach at Fayetteville. I know they get paid pretty hefty. So,
hey, with the talent level, when you have the Rutherford brothers, guys that are coming in, and in the freshman class that are going to be sophomores, got some talent. A lot of people may not know about, but in the coming years and coming weeks and coming months, under Brad Stamps and that new system, I'm really excited. Being a former Purple Dog, I can't wait to get to Bulldog Gymnasium and watch as Coach Musselman would say, pace in space. I think that's the way they're going to play. But we're going to step away, give you a little reflection on some of Arkansas's basketball season. As if you can't already tell, today's about the hoop. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins, and following that, Barry Booker of the SEC Network. We'll be talking to B. Back in a moment.
afford to give up those opportunities to score.
That is 101 three-pointers now for the true freshman Isaiah. Years to come. Crossover by Lee, sets up Neesmith on a three. And that's good sound for Vanderbilt. Pass goes inside to Gafford. Bobble picked up on the and one for the sophomore.
Commodores, obviously winless in SEC play in Arkansas. Let him get going.
There's a three. Harris traces the baseline. Shot clock down to 2. At the buzzer, knocked down by Jalen Harris. Points off turnovers early on. Vanderbilt leading that number 6, so that's a refreshing change. And there's a three-point knocked down by Mason Jones. They basically shot clock under 10. Harris finds his feet, drops the hammer right near the 6'10" Yanni Wetzel. Here's Gafford inside. I see, that's the kind of thing I thought we'd see so much more of deception, more than reality. It seems like guys this era don't know how to set screens like they used to. You see more and more illegal screens.
Well, the refs let them get away with it all.
Is why you see NBA scouts at every SEC venue that number 10 in red is playing in. You just can't teach some things.
Daniel Gafford is by far the best big man on the court tonight. This man can run the court.
2-point lead for
finish,
Arkansas under 6 minutes to go, first half. Quick shot on the other end, and that's a three, knocked down by Sills.
Make them get up and down the court as many times as possible.
12-0 run for Arkansas, and another turnover. Into the hands of Jones, all the way. Steal and a bucket. Vanderbilt starting to crumble here towards the end of half number 1. A 14-0 run for Arkansas.
Semi Shatu has been handling. Thank you, Mike Morgan.
And I mean that with all love and adoration. Daniel Gafford with a bank
and you
shot
don't have
after
the quality big man to rely on either.
Off an air ball. And Shatu tries a behind-the-back dribble. Turns it right back over. Jones on a three. Semi Shatu still having trouble getting the ball inbounds. And Arkansas pressure.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day here on KDSJ 479. And real quick, before we get to our next guest, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. The Baymont Hotel is located at 735 South Shiloh Drive in Fayetteville. Locomotive located just below Northwest Arkansas Mall. And lastly, our newest sponsor, Corey Beck's Custom Painting. Now, Arkansas introduced Eric Musselman as its new head basketball coach, but, a few other positions, A&M, Alabama, Vanderbilt, all brought in some very astute coaches. So we thought we'd catch up with our very astute analyst that knows quite a bit about the SEC, Barry Booker. Barry, welcome back to the Hill, my man.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Good to be on today. And, man, the league is just getting tougher and tougher. It's going to be more and more exciting, I believe.
Absolutely. Barry, I want to talk about Arkansas as we'll break down the new coaches and what you know a little bit about each one. First, Arkansas hires Eric Musselman this past Monday. Tell us what you know, and, when you look at his style, having watched him at Nevada, what do you think he brings to this ball club that Coach former Mike Anderson left?
Well, I feel, of course, Buzz Williams down at Texas A&M feel the best about that situation, a guy that's had a very high level of success at a place that's somewhat similar as far as the challenge in doing a good job with basketball at Virginia Tech compared to the challenge at doing a good job with basketball at Texas A&M. So feel best about that situation because the guy has gotten it done a couple of different places. Eric Musselman, I think, would be next in line because he has been effective and has taken that Nevada team to the NCAA tournament several times. He's had success in the tournament. So I think that is that hire has a better than 50-50 chance of being successful. Of course, with the history of the Arkansas basketball program, with the potential of getting that fan base inspired again and fired up again, and getting Bud Walton Arena rocking once again. I think that there is a high likelihood of success for Eric Musselman at Arkansas.
Barry, when you look at the league, one thing that stood out to me over the past few years is mid-major coaches getting an opportunity to be able to come in. Kermit Davis at Ole Miss comes to mind. Came from Middle Tennessee State, had a real good year one there at Ole Miss. You look at Musselman, Nevada, and other places. Will Wade came in from mid-major types. Talk about that, and do you see that trend starting to also too with Stackhouse getting his first opportunity? Maybe not mid-major, but coming from the NBA assistant coaches ranks. How do you think that's going to continue to grow within the SEC?
I think we're seeing a trend of the schools looking more toward guys who have had that success and feeling better about bringing in a coach who is more proven, who has done it at the college level. Which is why the Musselman situation in Arkansas is one of the better looking situations. I think Coach Stackhouse at Vanderbilt, he hasn't had that college coaching experience. There are a lot of attractive things about him, and a lot of things that look promising there. And with his experience as a player and as a coach in the NBA at the professional level, I think there's a lot of reason for optimism, but he just hasn't had that experience, hadn't had that success. And so, I'm wondering if that's going to work out at Vanderbilt. You got the guy from Buffalo coming in at Alabama.
Right.
That one, a mid-major type coach moving into the SEC. That's going to be a challenging situation, and one where, that one's, maybe 50-50 that goes well. You like the one you mentioned Kermit Davis moving in at Ole Miss, an older coach, very experienced coach, a guy who had been around the SEC. So this is not new territory. He's been recruiting in this part of the world as well. So, you could see that one with a high likelihood of success. But somebody coming in from a different location, and moving up to a higher level. Nevada, they have had that success in the NCAA tournament, so feel a little bit better about that. But yeah, it's not a deal like it is at Texas A&M, where you got a guy, or like it was with Mike Anderson when he came in. It's like, all right, this is going to work for sure. You feel great about the hire. He's been successful everywhere he's been. He loves Arkansas. This is going to be fantastic. And, I'm really surprised that it didn't go better for Mike Anderson during his tenure at Arkansas.
Which leads me to the next question. Coaches coming in, but also coaches in the SEC, which is now being labeled big boy coaching. We're being, approached. UCLA, wanted to reach out to both John Calipari and Rick Barnes there at Tennessee to no avail. Talk about when other conferences come in to try to attract some of your coaches, which, by all intents and purposes, this was supposed to be a down year in the SEC, don't you think, Barry?
Well, a lot of talent back in this league this year. A lot of guys coming back this year. So it was the level of results were a little higher than expected this year, a little better than expected this year. But, you talk about these coaches or these schools not being able to attract SEC coaches away. It's a really good sign, really good sign about where the basketball programs are in this league, about the level of commitment that the schools have to basketball and the level of success that people feel like they can have in the Southeastern Conference. So it's really exciting for somebody like me and you who love SEC basketball and have followed it for a long time. It's really exciting to think about what the future is going to bring.
Speaking of the future here at Arkansas, Isaiah Joe, had quite the freshman year, tying, I believe, Murray from Kentucky for the most three-pointers in the regular season with 113. If you're Coach Musselman and you evaluate this team, you had a chance to do a lot of this freshman class games here at Arkansas. What's your assessment of Isaiah Joe in year two, and also could you kind of gauge where you would expect this team to be in year one of Coach Muss?
Well, you got to feel good about the backcourt situation at Arkansas with an experienced point guard now in Jalen Harris. You got the two shooters, the wing players with Jones and Joe able to knock down those 3-point shots. So now you have to find a way to threaten the basket. You have to find a way to either have somebody have an offense or a player or two that can attack the basket, that can drive to the basket and can collapse that defense, or they don't grow Daniel Gafford on trees, so it's difficult to find another player like that you can just plug in at that post position, and you're going to be effective on offense because you got that inside-outside threat. So that's going to be the challenge. I think it would be a great success for Arkansas to make the NCAA tournament next season, just because you would expect, losing an All-American type player in Gafford, that it's going to be a step back for this 2020 season.
Well, as always, my man Barry, love having you on. We'll continue to talk because I know you got a little downtime, and that doesn't happen very often in our line of work. But as always, my man, thanks for taking time out with me on the Hill.
Hey, my pleasure. Go Hogs and enjoy this spring and summer. Take it easy.
All right. That was SEC basketball analyst. There's quite a few guys. Well, Demetrius, he's almost the voice of TV games with the University of Arkansas. He's always in the gym. Barry does a great job. But we're going to step away and get a real quick break, and then it's time to talk a little recruiting. We're going to find out the Coach Muss effect here at Arkansas. We talk with Corey Evans of Rivals.com. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
Week and a half, we'll really be able to spend time with them.
Are there similarities in the style with what they were doing and what you do, getting up and down the court and getting after people? Are there some similarities?
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, basketball is basketball, but every coaching staff kind of has its own identity, theme, style, whatever you want to call it. And so, I think that, they didn't play like a slow pace, which, you could have played in a methodical system, but I think that there'll be differences, but some similarities as well.
The recruiting guys have already been talking about how you guys have been hitting the road or been putting out some big-time offers. What kind of feedback are you getting from the recruits, I wonder, after taking this job? What are they saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, we can't comment on anybody in particular, but I think everybody's enthused and again, not talking about anything in particular, just in general. So we'll just keep trying to make contacts and introduce ourselves and go from there.
A little different walking around with that Razorback on your chest, you think, come summer when you're going to some of these summer tournaments?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt when you're representing the SEC. It's a powerful brand, the conference and our program.
Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla. Welcome back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And, Eric Musselman just became the new head basketball coach of the University of Arkansas. And we thought we'd continue on. As always, people want to know, how is he as a recruiter? So we thought we'd catch up with a good buddy of mine to give us some insight on Coach Eric Musselman, Corey Evans of Rivals.com. Corey, welcome to the Hill, my man.
Thanks for having me back, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Corey, let's get off into the recruiting part of Eric Musselman. What can you tell me about, and the listeners of the Razorback fan base, about Coach Musselman, the recruiter?
Yeah. I mean, what you see of him on the floor, coaching, the enthusiasm, the passion, that's what he brings 24/7. At Nevada, where it really wasn't this. Are you there?
Yep.
Yeah, at a school like Nevada before, where it really wasn't a name brand national program, he had to find a way to make it relevant, right? Nationally relevant. And he really hit the transfer wire hard.
Right.
And that's why guys like Caleb Martin, Cody Martin, Jordan Caroline, Trayshawn Thurman, all those guys in recent years enrolled at Nevada. So whether he does that in Arkansas or not, we'll see. But being able to sell the chance to play at the highest level, to come to Nevada, if he can turn Nevada into a great program, no reason why he can't do it at Arkansas.
When you look at the recruits that he's offered, Kyrie Walker, Dalen Terry, Moses Moody, and Jalen Williams, all, Moody and Williams are in-state Arkansas kids. Moody's at Montverde, but the Terry and Walker were kids that he was on at Nevada. Talk about those guys and what you know about Terry and Walker, and how if they do choose Arkansas, how would that help Coach Musk going forward?
Yeah, I mean, they're national recruits, so they're national level guys. I mean, both are top 50, top 40 prospects in the 2020 class. He kind of cultivated that relationship with those guys over the past 2 years at Nevada. A guy like Dellen, I mean, he's someone that the entire Pac-12 won. So to get a guy like that, or Kyrie Walker, who is, a five-star prospect, to commit to Arkansas that has no prior allegiances or connection to the state of Arkansas, that'd be giant.
Talk about Moses Moody. I know Arkansas and Coach Anderson, the previous staff, recruited Moses at a very high level. How does that help with Coach Musk coming into the state, reassuring of the offer, and the NBA ties that Coach Musk has? How strong will that be when you're talking to guys like Moses Moody and Kyrie and Dalen Terry and guys going forward?
Yeah, you see that schools like Georgetown and Memphis right now, where Penny and Patrick Ewing, their primary sell is, hey, I've been there, done that. And that's what Coach Musk has. He can show you the way. He can show you how the best of the best do it. So the fact he was so cognizant of Moses Moody being the top-rated guy in Arkansas in 2020 and wanting to get the best guy in the state, first of all, it's great awareness. Second of all, it kind of shows how big of a priority it is in keeping the best in the state close to home.
When you look at this, the state of Arkansas, talent-wise, in high school basketball, it's quite evident that it's getting better and better. But real particular, there's 20 and 21 class coming out of the state. How important is that for Coach Musk and staff to keep the majority of those guys? Because as we know, you may not get them all, but how important it is that they get their share to stay home?
It's crucial because, I mean, you don't want to keep up with the Joneses here, as you say, but everyone else in the SEC has done it. Everyone else in the Big Ten has done it. I mean, you look at schools like Michigan and Michigan State, Indiana up north. You look at schools like Florida, Mississippi State, Alabama, Auburn down south. Their primary concern right off the bat is protect our home turf.
Right.
And then we'll go out and get everyone else. And that's what Arkansas has to do. That's what Mike Anderson did a great job of. And that's what Musk will do as well. For those select few guys that are elite of the elite, like a guy like Moses Moody, it is crucial that they can get that kind of guy and kind of, send out the sign that, hey, we're here, we're going to protect our turf. No one can come into our state and get our main guys.
Talking with Corey Evans of Rivals.com here on the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, giving us the Musk update. Last question before I let you go, Corey. When you look at the coaches in the SEC and covering high elite level basketball as you have over the years, with the coaches coming in, you have Crean, you have Musselman, there's Calipari, there's Barnes, there's Howland. All these guys have one common thing in that they all have the ability to recruit. Rate the conference. You have Stackhouse coming in. He has AAU ties. Talk about how strong of a conference this could be, for some of the nation's elite going forward.
Yeah, man. I have never seen. I don't think anyone has seen in recent years the SEC, coaching-wise, the coaching fraternity in the SEC, how great it is. Not even talking about the X and O's, but also on the recruiting trail. I mean, you have John Calipari kind of speaks for itself, but you know, you go down the list and you have a Mike White, you have a Bruce Pearl, you have a Tom Green, Ben Howland, Kwanzaa Martin, Kermit Davis. You have a guy like Buzz